Hey, this is Sebastian for the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by
Chelsea Murphy of Dawn of Ouroboros.
And Tony Thomas, also of Dawn of Ouroboros.
Okay, so you guys fully came to my attention because of the amazing release of Slipping Burgundy. It's just phenomenal. How pleased are you with the feedback so far from fans and media and everyone, basically?
It's been, I think, our most successful release yet. The interactions that we've gotten have been very genuine, and people have taken the time to really feed back to us and explain what the song means to them, which is always a delight to read. Yeah, it's been a really good experience overall. We're very thankful to everyone that has listened and continues to listen and spreads our music.
Honestly, it's amazing. And I mean, I've watched the video countless times now. It's got everything. It's got the Twin Peaks vibe. Was that intentional? Yeah?
Yeah, so it was interesting timing. So we had actually written this song with the whole, like, this is my ballad for David Lynch in mind. And unfortunately, he passed, like, literally right before we were about to release it. And, you know, we were a little fearful of what people might think of us releasing something that was so obviously influenced by David Lynch this close after his death. And, I mean, the amount of work that went into this single was extreme. And I'm just happy that it does honor him. I think it honors him quite well. So, yeah, it's been very obviously influenced by Twin Peaks and David Lynch and his universe.
Yeah, and if you've explored any of our previous releases since discovering this one, across all of our music videos, you may see some influence in, you know, how we like to make our music videos.
But I can imagine a jazz lover just like listening and watching that video and like, yeah, this is so cool. And then it's like, what the actual fuck? Spilling a latte, you know what I mean? It's like, what the?
Yeah, you know, even that essence of it is really dedicated to David Lynch, because he had such a interesting way of looking at the world, and his influence was often like where beauty meets horror, and like it just kind of the way it went from like the really beautiful intro into this really extreme, angry, heavy, you know, metal ballad. It was all part of the design for sure.
So I already know what to expect from the album. Been listening to it in the gym lots. But what can the unsuspecting world expect from Bioluminescence? Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. And this album is it's difficult because we named it after one of our title. It's a title track album. The name's named Bioluminescence, but you know, there's really a lot of themes within it, and we did a lot of exploring musically. So it doesn't sound, it's cohesive, but it doesn't sound the same. It doesn't, you put it on and every song has a different feeling to it, and that's intentional. So I guess kind of like in the way, the ocean, where you're being pushed and pulled with it, and you don't really know what to expect next. But if you just calm down and listen and go with the flow, you'll probably enjoy yourself.
I mean, it's a refreshing album and kind of unique in many ways. I mean, yes, there's been bands that have like had a jazzy bits into there, but with the death metal instantly combined, it's got the gentle floaty moments like you've said. So I'm dying to know, what are your influences then? I mean, are you jazz fans?
Yeah, we both would be, but more so for me personally, I prefer like the type of jazz that the influence is obvious in, say, Slipping Burgundy, more like the film noir kind of jazz, or I guess the genre, the modern genre, there's like doom or dark jazz. Like I think they're Born in their Club of Gore from Germany, and then some other groups from the Netherlands, such as the Lovecraft Sextet, just sort of like dark, minor key, gloomy jazz. And then there's some metal bands that have incorporated that style, such as like White Ward, or even I think Lantlos who I'm a big fan of, has done it to some extent as well.
Yeah, it does really work as well. I think it's really cool. I love it. On release day, do you have anything planned for the 7th of March and maybe a live streaming?
Yeah, we are doing a listening party, right?
No, the listening party, which would be on March 2nd. So if anybody wants to RSVP on our Bandcamp page, they could hear the album the Sunday before the release, so about 5 days early.
Wow.
And we'll be available for live chat. Just ask us anything. As far as the 7th, we're playing a release show in San Francisco. We won't have a live stream, but we do intend to have it recorded, including mixable audio. So there would be a live recording of it available at some point.
You're signed to a really amazing label. How pleased are you with their support? And can you tell us what formats the album is going to be released on?
Yeah. So we've been signed to Prosthetic for this will be our 2nd album with them. And overall, the team has really come together and made a plan for us in terms of, getting us in front of more interviews and, getting us in different regions, like helping us with getting into Japan and like things like that we wouldn't be able to do on our own, which I think is critical, especially nowadays with musicians being able to do so much on their own. It's really important to weigh the value of your label and the things that they can do for you that you could not provide yourself. And so it's been critical to our growth to have Prosthetic on our side, and we're very thankful to them for that. This album will be released on all major streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify. I don't even know the other ones off my top of my head, but if you want to order physical merchandise, the best way to do it for US people is through Bandcamp. That goes, it comes from us directly,
or the prosthetic store,
store.
Europe would be Evil Greed would be the store, and then we have a Japan store, Spiritual Beasts.
Cool. Yeah. So what about Japan? And have you got quite a big following there then?
We're trying to grow more in Japan because we would really love to go tour. So that's part of our distro idea, is that if we work more closely with people in Japan that can actually help us grow there, then we'll be way more likely to tour there and have it be successful, right? Because I think it's important, if you're going to travel that far, to have at least a decent crowd, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then looking at Europe, are the plans to hopefully maybe you won't go over to Europe this year, do you think?
Oh yeah, we would love to go to Europe. It's one of those things where it's a logistical game where it has to make sense. So if we could get on the right support slot for a headliner over there, then we would be jumping on a plane tomorrow. But as of right now, it's just we're trying to grow over there the best that we can, and hopefully we end up being able to get into those markets. I really feel like a lot of our fan base is actually Europe and UK, so it will be really helpful for us to finally get over there.
So how hard is it though to sort of stick your head above the parapet when there's so many bands out there now, isn't there? It must be really difficult for you.
We really, really care about the music we make. We really believe in it, and we're doing it because we love it. So, regardless of how it was, we would be doing this no matter what.
Yeah.
But, with, everything kind of being algorithmically determined if people see your music or not.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a struggle to, try to I don't want to say fight with it, but, get that to work for you. I guess the way I'm noticing that it works, it's still pretty much word of mouth.
Yeah.
So if people are genuinely discovering a band's music and interacting with a band's music, then these algorithms will, spread the word to other people who are similar to those people who are enjoying the music. But it really is determined on, people need to like what you're doing and interact with it. And then these computer systems can help spread the word pretty efficiently, as we've found.
Just one thumb down can affect it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's mad. Really is. Will you be releasing any more singles before the 7th? I mean, it's nearly the 7th now, actually, isn't it? So
right.
Yeah, it's near the 7th.
Not before the 7th, but we do have another video prepared.
Cool.
one of we'll call it the focus track of the album.
Yeah, it's interesting. We when we started, we were like, well, we have to come out the gate swinging with Bioluminescence. I feel like that's like overall it encompasses the band's sound in a way that the other tracks do not. But for me, my personal favorite was Slipping Burgundy, because I feel like that was really like my track, my heart. So it was really exciting to see that go over well. But this next track is it is a triumphant track. Like it's very bright and charismatic and different than a lot of the others on the album. So it'll be interesting to see how it's received. I think it's one of our best, though.
It's the 5th track on the album, since you've already heard it. Yeah.
When you're playing live, how important is it for you to meet your fans after a show? And I'm guessing, Chelsea, you have to try and rest your voice, yeah? Do you just like nod and go, yeah?
Oh, yeah. The first thing I do is we actually have a system worked out. So when we complete our set, the first thing I do is actually run down to the merch to like meet people, talk with them, like do sales, whatever, because I feel it's really important to get that face time. And when it's still fresh in people's mind. And then I always make a point to speak with people, if I'm walking anywhere and someone stops me, I'm always gracious for any sort of interaction with fans, for sure, because without them, we wouldn't be doing the things we're doing. So it's like I really owe a lot to them. Very thankful.
Yeah, we're not owed a purchase of our music just because we created it. So,
yeah, exactly.
The fact that anybody wants to purchase our music or wants to tell us how the music, what it means to them, is very important to us. And we try to be as appreciative of that as we can, because, we're just huge music fans ourselves. So
yeah.
So who would be the ultimate band to go out on a tour with then?
Oh God,
there's too many.
There's way too many. I think honestly, like one that would be a phenomenal match for us, but be very unlikely that they would take us, would be Deaf Heaven. That would be that I would cry my eyes out if we got invited to tour with them. Or Alcest, of course. I love Herator, absolutely love them, and I would like chop off my foot to go tour with them. For me, I love Herator. Another one would be Mo. I always say that wrong, I'm sure. It's MOL, but they're from Denmark. Yeah, they're phenomenal. I love them. Tony, what about you?
I would put some overlap in that as well. Then I guess maybe some, like the German band Latmos is one I really like, but I don't think they're very active as a live band in several years now. But we did tour with Fallujah and Persephone last summer here in the States.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and that was really special for us. And we really much enjoyed doing that, and meeting. I had been a fan of Persephone for like over 10 years.
Yes.
Wow. Like, meeting them and then getting the tour for a whole month.
They're such really funny guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're a lot of fun.
That must have been amazing. All right, and so when you're out on the road, who has the most annoying habit then?
I think everybody does. Honestly, it's one of those things where you give grace to everybody, because at some point in time, someone's going to have an episode of like just being a little ass. I got hangry, I'm sorry, So I think everybody's quite understanding of one another. It never goes to a point where it's like, well, that was unforgivable, but, people do get moody. You're being forced to always be on the go. You're not sleeping a lot. You're not eating a lot, It's hard. It's hard work, for sure. Yeah. So I think everybody gets a little bit of a mood about them at some point in time during the tour, but we all love each other very much. So The Circle by Herator would be absolutely one of my tops. I think that album in general, it just has such a beautiful flow to it. And it's just like the most devastatingly impactful album. I just cannot stop listening to it for years now. As it came out in 2017, and like I think I've listened to it like hundreds of times, and I just can't get enough. So that's definitely one of my tops. And then I would go for Deaf Heaven for sure. I know it's like it's kind of a like there's a lot of interesting opinions on it, but I love the Ordinary Corrupt Human Love album. I do. It's just like it has such nice, beautiful intricacies to it that some of the other albums don't, which I understand that it's a little different than their original sound, but I really like it, like quite a bit. I listen to it all the time. And another top album for me, my last one I'm going to have to pick. I'm going to go with something completely different. I'm going to go with Gunship. And let me figure out the album. Gunship is a synthwave band that from the UK that
Right.
I think they are just phenomenal. So their Dark All Day album is probably one of my top listened to albums, just because it has the essence of everything synthwave needs to have, in my opinion.
I'll go with Cradle of Filth, Dusk in Her Embrace, as that was like the first extreme metal album that got me into extreme metal. And then I'll also go with Lantlos, who I've mentioned a few times, with their song album Melting Sun, which
so
kind
good.
of introduced me to post metal. And then I had one more, and I'm blanking on it. Psy, Dreaded Dreams Scenario 4. It's kind of avant-garde, psychedelic, black metal band. They've been around for a long time. That's kind of the band that got me into, like, they incorporate whatever they want into their music. So there's no rules. So I'll go with those three.
Female singers. Favorite three female singers.
I would say I'm going to go old school. I love Etta James. I love her soulful voice. If I could come back as any human, I think it would be Etta James, just for that voice. She has been a big influence for me for sure. Like growing up, I loved the singer-songwriter Carole King, which I know sounds very strange, but like she was definitely a big influence in my like early youth for sure. Janis Joplin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, phenomenal for the whole like, women don't need to be a certain way in music movement, so yeah, I'd say those are like some of my tops in terms of female vocalists for sure.
Guthrie Govan is a fusion guitar player. It kind of got me into like incorporating the jazz fusion element in my guitar playing. Not that I can do shredding or anything, but just doing stuff that's less traditional and heavy metal music. Yasunori Mitsuda, who is a video game
so
composer.
Good. I'm sorry.
He actually is a video game composer. He's composed music for games like Chrono Trigger and like a bunch of Japanese role-playing games.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know what to say. I always like look at my like most listened to albums. There we go.
But then afterwards you're gonna be like,
oh, Kitty.
Tabatha.
How sweet.
Oh yeah.
Hans Zimmer, the film composer.
Which musician would you have in your car for a 24-hour road trip, dead or alive?
Oh, wow. You go first. Let me think.
I don't know. I don't know these people.
I think of me terrible. 24 hours, huh? I feel like it's a long time to get to know somebody that you don't know, but I would say it'd have to be somebody that would be fun to improv with, right? Like, it'd be really nice to just have somebody that you can write with on the road, like just for fun. Like, doesn't have to be recorded or anything. I feel like, Jim Morrison would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I feel like he would be a phenomenal 24-hour car ride person.
Yeah.
To just like get wild with in terms of just improv the whole time,
So.
hanging out, talking, hearing all his crazy stories.
Brilliant. What about you, Tony?
I'll go with Guthrie Govan. I guess it'd be a way of pulling out a 24-hour guitar lesson, asking questions. I'm always trying to become a better musician as long as I've been playing, and that's someone I really admire within their musical ability and their technical ability. And I feel there's a lot I could learn, and also seems like an interesting person.
Brilliant. Now, if there was a made-up song about your personality, what would it be called?
Mine would be like Gothic Kitty or something, like, because I'm a very like bubbly person a lot of the time, but I'm also like to the light, So, and I love my cats like way too much. So
yeah, same.
What about you, Tony?
Let me think. I don't want to just say consistency.
Wow, Tony Bot.
Tony Bot. Yeah, something along those lines. I'm always trying to, I always act.
He's very routine based
and act within like goal focused and, things I'm doing with music and stuff along those lines.
Yeah. I'm much more.
Not a good song title.
No, Tony Bot, Gothic Kitty.
I love it. Okay. So which song from the soon-to-be-released album would wake you up in the morning?
To wake me up, I feel like Slipping Burgundy, just because it has a nice slow intro. I'd be like, oh, that's so nice. And then, oh shit, it's time to get up. So, I feel like that would be a good one to wake up to. What about you?
Dueling Sunsets.
Go. Do you prefer festivals or small intimate gigs?
I think I really like festivals because it feels like it has such a big impact to spread your music farther. But at the same time, playing a nice club with a good crowd is one of my favorite experiences as well. So I think I like them for very different reasons. I like the intimacy of just being able to like see the crowd before me and like interact with them. But with festivals, it's just like your reach is so much farther a lot of the time. So you get a lot more people discovering you for the first time that you wouldn't have in like a small intimate setting where people are literally there because they want to be there. Like it's not like they're going to just stumble into your intimate, club performance. So yeah, I think they are both very important for sure.
Yes.
Brilliant. Do you prefer vinyl or digital?
I really like vinyl because, well, nowadays they're just so beautiful. Most people have like these amazing colored vinyls, and the layouts, the amount of time people put into their layouts is just like phenomenal. Like it's just such an experience to hold it physically, and then when I put on their vinyl, it's like I'm listening to it in a way that I wouldn't if it was just digital, where you have like the luxury of just pausing and going. But obviously I'm still a consumer of digital music as well because I go about my life literally listening to music all day, every day. So, I couldn't do that with a vinyl.
No, that's the thing, I know.
Primarily, I'm listening digitally because I can listen in my car. I can listen while I'm out for a walk. But if I'm buying music, I will buy it on vinyl, and I enjoy it because it gives you're kind of forced to listen to the album as it was arranged, like from the back. You could skip around, but it's
totally.
You can't just like, oh, here's the start of the song. You would have. So it makes you listen from the album from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Well, talking about vinyl and things like that, what about, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so We went with the artist Alex Ekman-Lawn.
Yeah.
Alex Ekman-Lawn, and we really took the time to search for the right artist, because I think it's difficult with a lot of the popular artists that are used for albums nowadays. It does not fit our sound in a way that we feel honors the music, which sounds really pretentious, but like, you know, so we spend a lot of time.
Represents, not both.
Yeah, I mean, both, honestly, but, you know, it's just very important to us to have the right artist do our art. And with Alex, it was an experience unlike any other we've had before. He absolutely nailed the assignment and brought all the essence of everything we wanted into one piece. And then he ended up creating other pieces that you'll see like in our vinyl layout that are interlaced, and it just looks so beautiful. The color scheme, everything is exactly how I wanted it. So very thankful to have worked with him.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that it's not AI. That's
really
important. Really.
So, what he's known for, and we don't have this because it would have been much more expensive, but he's a collage artist, and he's been doing, I think, close to 20 years what he does. But he'll create collages, and then he will print them out, each layer of his collage on a thick cardboard type paper.
Wow.
And then he creates 3-dimensional versions of it. So if you have his art galleries, and then they're like 3-dimensional structures that have actual depth to them and everything.
Right. So that's amazing. Yeah. So it's the whole package. The whole album's the whole package. And I mean, hopefully you will get over to Europe, get over to the UK even. That'd be amazing.
We would love to.
That'd be so cool. And I want to again congratulate on the release. But do you have any final words then for your fans, our viewers and listeners?
I guess our final words would be thank you, first of all. Yeah, we couldn't do this without you. And then, you know, really the spreading of the music is what keeps us growing. So if you can, just share. You know, if you want to get merch, you know, please do. We have quite an assortment nowadays. So, you know, everything helps us. You know, all the support really adds up and makes a huge impact and allows us, you know, affords us opportunities to go to places like Europe and Japan and other places that we are dreaming about. But, you know, those are our main focus points right now, trying to get there. So.